Here we are again, another night filming something amazing here on the Relentlessly Becoming podcast, and I am thrilled about what we will get to talk about tonight. In life, we all face opportunities to connect with people, and we don't forecast having to detach from those people that we attach ourselves to. But oftentimes, life teaches us the importance of detachment, voluntarily or involuntarily, when we connect with certain people that are just not right for our destiny. And that is what we're going to talk about tonight, the importance of the art of detachment. Detaching from romantic relationships and breakups, detaching from family relationships that are not healthy for us, detaching from platonic and friend relationships that just don't serve where we're moving to in our future. I think that it is super important to have this conversation because as growing adults, and I say growing adults because as long as we live, we never stop growing. We never stop shooting to reach our next level. It is important to understand that sometimes we will simply have to let go. And so tonight we're going to get into a conversation around how important it is to let go and how in letting go, sometimes it's important to find yourself in the process. I couldn't be more excited to share what we are about to share with you tonight. Stay tuned because we are about to get into some things. I'll see y'all in a quick second. Opportunity, emotion, grit, relentlessness. Cling to the sound of my voice and understand that what you want wants you. What you need needs you. And you are relentlessly becoming relentlessly better. Welcome to the Relentlessly Becoming podcast. Let's go. All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Relentlessly Becoming podcast. And we are here with two phenomenal, amazing guests. D Woods, Denisha, as I call her, and Glenn Powell. I have known them for the last couple of years here on my journey in Dallas. I met them through one of my mutual close friends, and we've just been kicking it, ever since. And their energy is just infectious. I always have a good time whenever I'm around them. We laugh, we smile, we joke, and we really have some really intriguing conversations amongst ourselves within the group of friends that we choose to connect with. And I couldn't be more excited to have them here on my platform tonight. So guys, what's up? How are y'all?
First of all, let me say I'm honored. I am honored to be here. I am excited for the conversation. I'm actually doing great.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Glenn?
I'm really good. I'm happy to be here. I'm definitely honored to be here. Ready to get into it. I'm a little tired from work, but I'm good, man.
I think we all are. It's crazy. So tonight, of course, we're talking about the art of detachment, being able to be strong enough to know when it's time to let go of certain relationships that no longer serve us in our present capacity, but more importantly, serve where we're going. And I think that it is so important in this season, in this time, to really marinate on conversations like this because we see so many things come and go in our lives. And oftentimes it affects and impacts how we move day to day. But what I really want people to get out of this episode is wrapping their mind around their stories and how to understand the importance of letting some of those things that they've encountered on their path go. And so I want to start us off by just allowing you guys to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your story. Who are you and what really made you get to this point in who you are today is what I'd like to know.
I'll start. He called me Denisha. I have a lot of aliases, but you can call me Nisha for the sake of this podcast. My story is unique, but also very traumatic, but also very beautiful. Where I am now, I couldn't even imagine being here now with where I started. But to give you background, I'm just a young Black girl from Memphis, Tennessee. Tell me what you know about me. I am from South Memphis, Tennessee. I born and raised there. I lived there for 23 years, and then that's when I started to discover myself as a woman. But my life in Memphis was not easy. It's not, like the rap videos and everything, but I definitely grew up impoverished in the hood with a single Black mother. And that a lot of what I went through at that stage of my life definitely shaped the woman who I had to become to make that little girl proud. I went through a lot, and I'm excited to share a lot of that journey. I struggled in the beginning before this, wondering how deep I should get, but we're going to go there. So I'm going to give you the intro now. I'm from Memphis, only child. Shout out to the only children.
Hello.
Love you. But I'm going to start there, and we're definitely going to get much deeper.
So my name is Glenn Powell, young black man from Indianapolis, Indiana. Went to college in Georgia Tech, Western Illinois. Grew up like playing sports. I was a track and field athlete. Also was a dancer, hip hop dancer, to clarify. And I was an artist. So kind of excelled a lot as a young student in high school, excelled in college as well. And then construction brought me here. So, and my previous best friend. So we'll get into that probably. And that's kind of where I started. I was raised by a married black couple that dealt with a lot of struggles. We'll get into that too. And I don't think I was raised off of survival. Mm-hmm. Like it was kind of like it was survival, but it was masked in the house, which I feel like a lot of black families go through.
Do that. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of tough times got me here. So.
Yeah. I think that as we dissect where we are in our youth, oftentimes, especially being young black individuals, when we really sit and talk with people, we find a lot of similarities that pass throughout our community. And some similarities we resonate with, whether you have a single parent or a two-parent household, or both of us come from a two-parent household, or, different things like that, because I often share with my parents, and my parents know that I am very vocal. And I do not, in this age, in this day, hide how I feel. I will always respect you as the creators of my life, but ultimately I am the owner of my life. And so I will not allow you to diminish or water down my experience for your comfort. And so when you talk about being in survival mode and having to mask like things are going good and things are okay, that specifically mirrors my experience. Now, my parents are phenomenal people. They raised me to be very strong and be very independent, even though when I wanted to be coddled, I wanted to choose that, but they would not give that to me. And so they didn't know they were raising me to be that way. But because of their raising, I am who I am today. But I think that I definitely resonate with having to understand, how to carry and code switch and change in public faces when at home is really a different environment oftentimes, and as I grew, things progressed and got better. But for a long while, I often felt like I'm in this two-parent household, but I don't feel any different in my mind from people who are in a single-parent household sometimes when it comes to certain things. But I know that my parents did the best they could with what they had.
Yeah.
And so really good. So when we think about our younger selves and kind of who we were then, what were some of the things that shaped your young experience? You talked about your trauma and you talked about your experience within your household. What were some of those things that kind of shaped it and kind of made it, a little bit difficult and then ultimately shifted you?
1,000%. So me saying I'm from Memphis, I'm a product of a single mother. Well, that single mother was an alcoholic. And I'm also a fatherless child who was also into very heavy substance abuse. So I come from not only a broken home, but a home full of addiction. And not for nothing, my grandparents also suffer from alcoholism. So this is a long line of dysfunction. And it's a long line of broken families because my grandparents broke up because they were toxic. My mother and father broke up because they were toxic. So coming up, and a lot of people don't know my story. So if you're just hearing this for the first time, tune in. Welcome in. So growing up with an alcoholic mother, I also can feel when y'all say a home where you have to mask things, because I always had to act like everything was okay in that home. That home was chaos. That home was torture. That home was me at 6 years old, literally fending for myself, fixing my own food, getting myself ready for school, taking care of my parent at a very early age. And in some ways, I do feel like it robbed me of my childhood. I didn't get to have a lot of experiences that other people had because I was so busy taking care of my parent who should have been taking care of me. I know I make it sound bad. It wasn't always bad. For a long time, I didn't even know how bad it was until I saw what normal looked like. And then I was like, oh, that's not at all what my life looks like. I've been homeless before with my mother. We've been without lights before. So when I say I'm coming from a place where with a single mother who just struggled to figure it all out. And then in that process, she lost her mother. And she's never been the same. And so imagine a broken person being broken even further. And I watched my mother literally dance with death for a long time. So all of those things help to create who I am. And I spent a lot of years as well trying to figure out how to not be like her. I tried to mold my entire life around how can I not be like her versus what makes me happy or what drives me, what motivates me. It took me a long time to get there because my only goal was to not be like her. So I will say now my mother is very beautiful. She was then and she is now. We've grown. I'm definitely going to talk about that too because this is not a bashing session. Absolutely. I'm only telling my part of the story. I love and respect her dearly, but this is my truth. And I also am going to tell my truth. I've never sugarcoated anything. So that is a little bit of insight from my childhood.
Yeah. Similar to Denisha, my father was alcoholic. So all growing up, I was just mentally and emotionally abused. Like my mom, my sister, and myself, we all lived in the house together. We was all just mentally, emotionally abused. I can't say physically abused. I mean, I've gotten into physical altercations, but to me, abuse is like alcohol abuse is when they are on the substance and they come and then do X, Y, and Z to you. I don't think we physically got an altercation directly from alcohol. Things led to it, but it wasn't like every other night he was coming home beating on us. It was more so he was coming home screaming and yelling. So as a child, like I became prone to screaming. Like screaming was not a disrespectful thing to me. Like if you yelled at me, it was just like talking to me. And I did that as I was excelling into like track, art, dance. I was like top in the nation on some of these things. So I would literally go to like auditions, go to like talent shows, run track meets, fly to New York and run track meets, come back home into chaos. And it was just like every single day was the same thing. And it was just mass. I think in the Black family, we kind of like, what goes on in the house stays in the house. And I think that's good to an extent. When there's abuse, then that's not good. But when things going wrong, when someone needs help, like then that becomes not okay. But it became our norm. I got to a point where I was just supporting my mom however I could mentally, like cooking food, washing clothes, doing the dishes, cleaning up. I would just now I love to clean. Like my friends always make fun of me. I'm always cleaning my house. Like I love to clean because that was just a second nature thing to me. And then I feel like as a gay Black man, like at a certain point in time in college, my mom and sister, as I became forced out of the closet, my mom and sister became kind of homophobic. And so I grew up like hating my father and not really wanting to be anything like my father. And then when I got to college, I grew up literally hating my mom and sister at a certain point in time and literally not discussing anything with these people. So those relationships made me extremely hard. I was extremely guarded. I had walls up to the ceiling. I also have other brothers and sisters that I didn't find out about until like 18, 19 on my dad's side. So then everybody became liars. Trust was nowhere to be found when you live 18, 19 years of just you and your sister. And then you realize, oh shit, you got 6, 7, 8 other brothers and sisters all across the country that no one ever told you about that you met at a Buffalo Wild Wings. So I was extremely guarded. My upbringing made me extremely hard. And I think it was just a mental like disconnect from like life, just because everything that you start seeing around, like seeing, I feel like you said something like you start seeing like, oh, this isn't normal.
Right.
Like when you get in college and when you know, in your early 20s, it's like other people, their family's loving on them. Like they're these people are taking them places, holding them, going X, Y, and Z. Like this, there's care in there, and it just wasn't like that for me.
Yeah. I think that I always challenge that ideology with my parents and with my family and different things like that. The ideology of what happens in this house stays in this house. I hate that saying. No, baby, what happens in this house is going to be told outside because we're going to help heal somebody, especially if we made it through. And if we haven't survived it and we're still weathering that storm, we're going to still tell somebody because they may have the resources for us to weather it and survive it. And so I think that we have to do more work as we spread the word to have people become more comfortable with sharing what they are experiencing, because you never know how your story could impact somebody else, or you could tell somebody and they have a resource to pull you through that storm that you're walking through. And so I think that is super solid to recognize and to understand, and then getting to the point where you said, I had to realize that this just wasn't normal. I remember when I was in college, and my best friend, she lives in Atlanta, and anything that she did, whether it was a 1-hour induction ceremony or, you know, a full day event, whatever, anything she did, her family would get on the road and drive from Atlanta to support. And I used to always wonder, my people live 2 hours away, and they will not even come over here to visit. And they're 2 hours away. And my best friend's family lives 4.5, 5 hours away. And they get up and they show up. And, you know, before long, her family became my support system. Like if we were both experiencing things and we were both, you know, doing something, her family showed me their love and support. And that doesn't mean that my family didn't love me, because I firmly believe that my family does. I don't want to say that before the people in Shelby watch this and go and say, oh, Bucket said that it's for I didn't say that. What I'm saying is I just recognize what love. My grandmother used to always say love is an action word. I recognize the action of love through my best friend's family showing up for her. Like even when we graduated, I will never forget, her family took up a whole section in the Coliseum with fat heads with her head on it. Like that. And I always tell her, like she knows, I always tell her, like, I love your family. And they love me. Whenever I come around, they know me. I'm their brother, their cousin, their nephew, like all of that, because they're just a loving family like that. And I think that honestly, my family genuinely shows each other love, and we love to get around each other. I just think that we didn't grow up knowing what show up support looks like long range. Like putting yourself in a position to go out of your way sometimes, or putting yourself in a position to forsake yourself to be there, because it's not about what you do. Sometimes your presence is all the gift that matters of people just seeing you. And so to me, that was really important. So wonderful. As we explored it, what were your coping mechanisms like back then when you were going through those tumultuous times in your younger days and trying to figure out how to garner that support for yourself? What did you do to handle that hurt and disappointment from people that you loved?
You know, I'm happy we talked about detachment. The first people that I ever had to detach from was my family. They taught me detachment, forcibly and involuntarily, me bowing out. But it's also funny that you say how your best friend's family showed up for you, because I wouldn't be anywhere without like the other mothers that mother me. So many mothers have mothered me. It's crazy. I wish I could remember every name. But a lot of the times I was not at home. Like I'm not. I don't have to be here. So me and my best friend, we've been best friends 27 so years. She's been in my house before. We didn't even have lights. I've been in her house before. She fighting her sisters, and it's like we can pick our battles that day, but as long as we had each other, we were
Good.
solid.
Mm.
So on top of having different places to go, because again, like I said, I've been homeless with my mother too. My mother's been through so much, and I've had to go stay with my best friend, with random people, with family, and I was also put in unsafe situations. So sometimes I didn't have a coping mechanism. I had nothing. I had nothing but to sit in the moment and be there and be scared and be sad and be mad at the world. But I immediately thought about the times where I did have a safe space, so to speak. And it was always with a friend, with their family, cooking food, hanging out. I remember being the ninth sibling one time. I had a friend who mama had 8 kids, and I was over there so much. I was the ninth kid. They would feed me. I'm showing up. We're there all the time. So I think, and I hate that it's not the same. I hate that children don't have neighborhood parents and safe spaces where they can go. Because I feel like if we had more of that, the world or our people would just be better, because back then when you didn't have, someone else had, and they would be willing to stretch a hand and give it to you. So when you say things like what happens in the house, I'm gonna say it outside, I didn't even have to say anything. Most times those people just showed up and showed me love. And so when I had those moments, those were the best for me, because I didn't have to think about what was happening in real life. I could just be. I could just have fun. I could just be hanging with my friends, eating a meal, and being somewhere that felt safe. So I wish I had a coping mechanism all the time. I mean, at a younger age too, I had dance, which, cost money that we didn't have. So, but my mama always made a way. So I danced. I was a majorette for years. When I did finally find something that made sense to me, I danced. So I danced for years. Now, she ain't show up to the competitions. She might have been a little tipped out, but I had the outfit, I had the boots, I slicked the hair back, and I was out there dancing. So no matter what, that's why I say she was never a bad person. No matter what, if I wanted to do it, I did it. And if I needed it, I got it. So dance was huge for me. When I found that like propelled me into a totally different space. So I think those would be the things that helped me get out of where I was.
Yeah.
For me, it would be just achievements. I was, my uncle asked me one day, he was like, do you ever like stop? Like, I was literally like, I learned to change clothes driving in a car. Like, because I would literally come from a track meet to a rehearsal late night, or from an art studio to a track meet. Like, it was literally like, I was literally nonstop moving around the city of Indianapolis. So I was just constantly achieving, like training in high school, track and field, training after school with another coach. I trained Nike athletes. I was like, I got an international art degree. So a lot of times I was at college studios, like with other college artists, like drawing naked people in the studio, like for 50 minutes each, like doing different things in regards to art. And then dancing, I was dancing professionally for the WNBA team in Indianapolis, Indiana. Shout out to the Fevers. And literally, like, my coping mechanism was literally like achievements. Like, people had to usually tell me to, like, you need to stop for a few days and get some rest. And Friends was the other part.
Still tell him that, by the way.
Too. Like, Friends was the other part. I got friends that were dancers. I'm still cool with to this day. I'm friends with to this day. One of my best friends is a dancer, and then track athletes. We still talk to each other every now and then. And then some of the art people. I used to do art on the side, but now I don't. But I mean, I literally. Friends and achievements was my coping mechanism to get me out the house, get me away from my family, which is who I had to detach from. And I feel like when you have to, like, I think detaching from friends as an adult or relationships, I think that's one thing. But being able to being forced to detach from the people that you were born on this earth to, I feel love was is like a different level of like cutoff. Like, it literally sharpens your blades. Mm-hmm. Like, you are a knife in a certain point in life where you can just cut anybody off.
That's my first heartbreak. My first heartbreak are the people that were supposed to love me and didn't. So that's where the detachment starts, in a place where it's like, oh, you don't care anything about me. So I need to figure something out because I have to take care of myself.
Yeah.
Hyper independent.
Yeah.
Saying that, one thing I realized, like when I was like in my early 20s in Dallas with, career, meeting people, like I was guarded and everything. So people would ask me like, who hurt you? Like what dude hurt you? Like what relationship have you been through? And I literally would be like, why are y'all asking me this? Like this, my family hurt me. Did your family not hurt you? And they would be like, no. So then I would just shut up.
We're not the same.
I'm like, okay, I am clearly different than y'all because y'all talk about this nigga hurt you, this dude hurt you, this female hurt you. And I'm like, baby, no female dude hurt me, baby. It was...
You could never.
You could never. Like, I had stopped talking to my dad for 7 years straight, like on block. Like, that hurt me.
I think that it's definitely a story as we maneuver through. Because when I look back and I see who I was, 5 to 10 years old, and then 10 to 18, and then 18 to 23. Like all of those factors and facets of life have a different mark on my story and how I progress to understand the importance of having to simply let some things go. I think when I was in the house with my parents, my coping mechanism was probably just always thinking and dreaming about what life would be like when I moved out of their house.
Can't wait to get out of it.
It had got to the point where I had started saying, I can't wait to go off to college. And my parents would be like, keep saying it and we're going to send you early. You're going to be getting your stuff and you're going to be getting out. And I would secretly hope, like, I hope one day they put me out. That's how much I did not want to be at home. I couldn't stand being at home because I just wanted to be in an atmosphere that I felt like nurtured the creative that I am. I didn't fall in line with the status quo of what the men in my family should do and should look like and all of that. I didn't fall in line with that. And so I knew that I was, the unique, unorthodox eyeball. And so I wanted to be in an environment that gave me those things. Like I didn't want to wear Jordans. I wanted to wear moccasins. I didn't want to go to school in just jeans. I wanted to wear nice pants with a top. Like those were things that I desired to be around other people who did those same things in my neighborhood, and oftentimes in my family that just wasn't the case. And so for me, dealing with the disappointment of not having the family support that I wanted, because I did have support. I didn't have the support that I wanted. I had to learn how to clap for myself. And oftentimes, like you said, people will always ask you, who hurt you? When I was younger, people would always look at my overextension of support for myself as arrogance. I was always labeled in my younger days, in my middle school and high school days, as a person who's arrogant, or, oh, he brags a lot because he's done this or he's done that. And I think that I did that because I didn't feel as though I was getting that enough from the people who I wanted it from. And so I had to learn how to clap for myself, of which I still do today. But when I got to college, I was around so many winners that it was a norm to clap. And we're going to talk about your achievements and your accomplishments because that's what we do here. And I thank God every day. And I tell this story, if my mom don't watch today now, because I'm going to tell the truth. My mom was gung-ho for me not going off to college. She wanted me to stay home and go to the school that she worked at for free tuition and to just be close to home. And I was like, no. Something in me, since I was 7 years old, knew that the moment that I turned 18, I am getting out of this house. And when I leave, I am making a vow to do whatever I can to never come back. And so and come back to visit, but never come back to live if I could help it. And so me and my mom went through a sparring, because that was my first opportunity to stand up for myself and let it be known that this is what's going to happen. Now, thank God that she didn't allow me to go out of state, because that was on my mind heavy at first. Oh, I'm moving out of state. Well, she really didn't stop that. I ain't had no money. And so I said, you know what? I ain't going to go way out of state, because I don't got no car. I don't got no money. I can't go to Atlanta to Morehouse. I got to stay somewhere down here.
Not Morehouse.
And so I hadn't been, that was on my mind, the mecca of black male excellence.
I went to Georgia Tech, so it was down the street.
Right down the street. And I wanted to be around excellent black men, exceptional. I wanted to be around that, because that's what I believed that I was. I wasn't told it, but I believed it. And so I said, I can't go there. I'm going to go to Mississippi State. I hadn't stepped foot on Mississippi State's campus since I was 5th grade. All I remembered was that I went for a conference with my mom in the 5th grade, and it was beautiful. And I looked and spun the wheel, and that's where I was going. I knew I didn't want to go to Ole Miss, because I went to camp there every summer, and I just didn't like the campus. And I said Mississippi State, and I thank God that I followed the hunch that's in me that was independent. And so I think my first art of detaching from being conjoined to my parents' views of what my life should look like was my choice to go off to college. And making that decision to this day has been one of the best things that I could have done. At that university, I became the man that I desired to be, and I'm still growing into different versions of him today. And so I think that my coping mechanisms then were just dreaming about what it would be like and not letting that go. And then I had several coping mechanisms in college, dating around. I didn't drink. One thing I didn't do was drink and do drugs.
In college?
And not a single drop the entire 4 years. My first time drinking was my graduation party after I graduated undergrad. That was my very first time drinking. I didn't drink any of college. I didn't do a single drug.
That's crazy.
Nothing. I'm talking about
the drug part, but the drinking part.
Went through the whole abstain. Went through the whole college experience. That's why this 1 year of sobriety, after the first 60 days, came a little bit easier for me, because I got back into the mindset that I had then, and there was all kind of alcohol and different things around. Wouldn't take a sip. I'm just strong willed like that. When I make up in my mind that I'm going to do something, it's going to be done. And so I coped with the hurt and experience of my first real heartbreak in college. I coped with it in some crazy ways and different things like that. But I think that I just learned what was not for me by coping the wrong way. So I want to acknowledge that too, because sometimes when we cope the wrong way, it'll only feel good for so long until you don't get tired of it.
How did you cope the wrong way?
I think I tried to connect myself to so many of the wrong people. I was always looking for the new big nickel. I was always looking for the new shiny thing. Who is...
friends or relationship?
A little bit of both. So I wanted to be... I think my freshman and sophomore year, I had this life plan of I wanted to get to campus, and I wanted to be involved in all of this stuff, and I wanted to be prominent, and I was going to shape myself to be whoever I needed to be in these groups and circles of people. And then when that didn't work out, I had to realize, if I show up as me, then the right things will come to me. And so, my first heartbreak was my sophomore year. Horrible. Horrible.
You crashed out?
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and I was having a conversation with my mom about it last year, and she was like, I'm so glad that you let that go and you stay away, And so I was just like, I can't go that route. And so in college, I took my mind off dating too. So after that big catastrophe of a heartbreak my sophomore year, I didn't date anymore in college. I just decided I was going to embed myself in being a student leader in my work. And so trying to be other people wasn't working out for me. I wasn't getting any of the things that I wanted to be a part of, or I wasn't being able to be recognized as a student that I want to be. I remember I was sitting at lunch one day with this girl, and it was this group I really wanted to be in on campus. It's one of the top 5 most prominent groups you can be in. And the girl was saying, oh, I interviewed and they asked me if you could meet one person, who would it be? And she was like, I just told them Beyonce. And she was like, they love that answer because I was authentic. So I went in my interview and they asked me the same question.
So you said Beyonce.
He said Beyonce.
And I said Beyonce.
Oh, child.
Knowing I didn't want to meet no Beyonce. I wanted to meet Fantasia.
Hello?
But I said Beyonce. And so I didn't get it. And it in my mind, it clicked that every time I show up as somebody else, I'll never achieve what it is that's destined for me. And so after my sophomore year, I went through a total mindset transformation. And it's like things just took off for me. I got in 8 student organizations at the same time. 5 of them, I was on the executive board by the second year, not voluntarily. I came into the groups, showed up as myself, did so well. My peers pushed me to be director of this, parliamentarian of this, student board member. Like they pushed me because I did so well, just showing up as who I am and shaking the room based on my own knowledge. And I learned then the importance of not wavering on who I was and detaching from the idea that I needed to be somebody else in order to achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. Because what's for me, I'm going to be able to show up as I am, and they'll come to me. And so in that light, I want to know kind of how you went through a defining moment where you said, I'm never going to allow myself to make myself feel this way again, and I'm never going to allow these people to make me feel this way again. When detachment and the art of detachment really started for you, what was that like?
I'm going to go back for 1 second.
Go ahead.
Because you said something that really hit me, and I think what you were talking about was the difference between coping and healing. We cope because we don't have the tools to heal, and we ain't got there yet, I know, but that's on my spirit, and I got to say it.
Let it out.
We only had what we had, just like our parents only had the tools that they had, so we coped because that's all that we had. When you heal, you do get to show up as your authentic self. You do get to show up and say, this is my room, I'm my own, and these are my people, I'm going to be here, versus we've all had to shapeshift before. They call it code switching and all kind of things, but like we've all had to kind of shift and morph, especially as Black people. Sometimes you have to show up either as your assertive self or a little different to be able to get your point across. So I wanted to I feel like we should come back to coping versus healing.
Yeah, that's good.
So I've had 1,000 defining moments. I don't know which one. My life is full of defining moments. I will say one of my biggest defining moments, though, was my first taste of living outside of Memphis. You don't get out of Memphis unless you rap or play basketball, or you got to be doing something. And for a second, I thought hair would get me out of Memphis, but the girls were still wearing cornrows and sending me pictures of Beyonce. You look like Respucia. I can't do that. There's no way I can do that. So that's when I knew hair wasn't going to do it. That was a defining moment. But I think the biggest defining moment, child, let's get into it. So I had an ex at the time, and she joined the Navy.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. She joined the Navy, and so she got stationed in Washington State. And so she was broke and she couldn't get her car up there. So she was like, and I was doing hair at the time. I was a licensed cosmetologist. So that's what I did day to day, and I could make my own schedule. And she was like, you mind taking off a couple of days to help me drive my car there? It's a 36-hour drive from Memphis to Washington State. And I was like, well, I ain't doing nothing. I'm sure you're going to pay me for this time. So we went. And when I say that was the most, I had never seen that much of the world before. I'm from Memphis. The furthest I had been was, I went to California once and like Kansas. What is that? So to be able to travel and go through Idaho and South Dakota and all these places that you only see on a map, but then I got to be in those spaces and see how green the world is and see how good God is, and the fact that like the world doesn't begin and end in Memphis. Like it's a whole world out here, and I'm still talking about the United States. So we get to Washington State. I'm like, this is the most beautiful place I've ever been. I've never seen anything like this. And at the time she was like, you want to move here? And so I went back to Memphis and I packed 4 bags and I moved to Washington State because I didn't see another way out for me. And I got there and I was miserable. That's probably the worst time of my life. But when I say if it weren't for me getting outside of Memphis, I still have friends that I talk to in Washington State, all kinds of things. It ended up working out for my good, hallelujah. But I just had to get out of Memphis. And even as bad as it was still better than being in Memphis. So my first like real defining moment as an adult woman was being able to move my life across the country and say, I'm taking my life back. Because again, at the time I still had an alcoholic mother who had been in the hospital multiple times. I didn't go to college because my mother was sick. And so I also felt like I missed out on a lot of my childhood, but I started to miss out on my adulthood. And unfortunately, at the time it was unfortunate. Now, actually, then too, I felt like I had to choose me. That was the first time I also chose me. I cannot wait around for either my mother to die or to choose herself or to get better or to be better. So I literally had to say, this is my one opportunity. If I don't take it, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life, and I'm going to blame her for the things that I didn't do. And I couldn't do that. So I had to leave. And while it was tumultuous, it was still one of the best decisions I ever made because that was the first time I chose myself. And so Washington State is where I became a woman too, because I was on my own. I'm already an only child, but to be away from my entire family, there was no one there. I couldn't call anybody and they could show up for me. There was no one. And so I really had to, I pulled my entire being out of Memphis, and it paid off, but that was like beyond defining. It was me choosing me. And that's where it kind of started for me. And it only went up. It went down, but then it went up.
I guess I don't think the first time I detached was solely for me. It was transitioning between high school and college. I told like we had went through some crazy argument. My dad, mom, sister, and me, and that night of the argument, took my mom outside, talked to her, was like, I don't feel safe going to college. I'm going 4 or 5 states over. I don't feel safe leaving you here. She was like, well, I know I got to go. Like I'm on scholarship to go. We're working my ass off to get to Atlanta, to Georgia Tech. Like I have to go. And she was like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm like, what do you want to do? Like, this is on you. I don't feel safe with you being here. So I'm either going to stay here with you or you're going to get up out of here. And it literally, when people say like the most dangerous time in an abusive relationship is when you leave, that was the most dangerous night of our life. We literally waited till he fell asleep, packed our bags, ran, like didn't even take car because we knew the car would wake him up. Ran out middle of the night to our uncle's house that lived like a mile away. Mind you, I'm in track. My mom is 56 years old. She's not in shape to do that. But we literally jogged and walked the whole way to my uncle's house, stayed with him for like a week, stayed with my aunt for like a month or so until I went to college. In that moment, like I was realizing like me and the 2 other people that I loved at the time were hurt so bad. Like something got to change. Like something has to change because we can't just be hurt. We can't just keep getting hurt and damaged by someone that's supposed to love us. Went to college, like after a month or 2, my mom was like, I filed for divorce. So I literally cut my dad off for like years. And I think that really, like being, my mom never really said that night, like, I want to get a divorce. But it was just telling her like, you know, I let her know that night that, you know, he held a gun up to my head. She was like, oh, well, he did that to me a few times. And I was like, she was letting me know things that was happening to her that had happened to me that was like, okay, for me it's one thing, but to hear it coming from someone you really love and value and care for, like things that damaged her, it was like, I don't know, we something gotta move, something gotta shake. And that's what I realized when I realized like when things really hurt me to a point, I'm literally going to walk away from this and never look back.
Yeah. For me, I think that similar to Nisha, it first started when I went off to Mississippi State because it was like a whole new world for me, a whole new world of diverse individuals, a whole new world of people in the way that they thought. I think I was a goldfish in a sea full of sharks, in a sense, in some areas. Because like I met my tribe of amazing people, and they transformed me from like a goldfish to like this prize fish that I am today. But I think when I first went in, I was just so green. Like I said, I had the desire of wanting to be, prominent on campus, but for the wrong reasons and not with the right strategy, And so going through those motions and coming into myself was defining there, because it was the first time that I was out of my parents' house. So I really got the autonomy to run and live my life the way that I desired. But I still leaned on them a little bit because I needed their help financially. And then when what they were doing for me financially was not enough for me, I decided I'm going to do what I got to do for myself. And that's kind of where my work ethic transcended. Not only was I in 7 organizations, I worked 2 jobs for 3 years every day. Because like you said, I go to school with people whose parents send them hundreds of dollars a week. We go to the parties. Majority of my friends are girls, and so they the baddest on campus. They ain't paying to get in the party. Most of them, I can get in free with them, but some of them, I'm gonna have to pay if they get there before me, or if I get off work late and they get there. Like, it ain't like now you just tell people, let them in my section. Then after that, they want to go to Waffle House and Sonic and IHOP, and I can't make $50 stretch for 2 weeks. So I got to get a job because I want to have my own money, and I want to be able to enjoy college and not feel less than. And so that was one thing. But even in that, I learned to detach from the idea that I have to, we just talked about it, all this coming to me, from the idea that I have to have it all because I worked so much that I missed so much too. And that wasn't fair to me in my experience looking back. I would have, if it would have been okay if I would have just made one job work.
Yeah.
But I decided I'm going to work 2 jobs because I want to have more than enough to make sure that if there is ever anything that I want, I can go and get it. I can go and do it. I don't have to worry about it. I ain't got to wonder. But then when I moved to Dallas, it wasn't just a new sea. I was in a new continent, a whole new world. Like, I'm out in a city. I grew up in small Shelby, Mississippi. 800, 900 people in the town. I know all of them. I'm some kin to probably about 600 of them. I know everybody in my high school, and I know all they mamas and daddies and cousins and aunties and uncles and everything. I moved to Dallas, and I'm meeting somebody new every week, and I'm out here on my own. I'm paying all of these bills. I'm doing what I got to do to move around this city. And it just came to me that I am my own rescue. I am my own support. I can't keep being mad at my parents for not giving me what they don't have. I am my own rescue. I have to do what I have to do to keep myself afloat and make the choice to say, no matter what, I'm going to do what's necessary to keep myself here because this is my secret sanctum. This is my peace, and I can't go home. And every month, when God do it again, I'm happy. I'm amazed. Like, the first things that I'm going to pay is the rent and the light bill.
Amen.
Because if I got them 2, I'm good, baby. If I got rent and lights,
we'll get some food
I'm
later.
good. God forbid they come get that BMW. I got to pay for Honda. You going to always be down on the list. That Wi-Fi, I want you, but if them lights cut on, baby, I find something to do. I play a puzzle, I write a speech, something. That rent and them lights gonna be paid first every month because I'm just determined that I ain't going back. I'm not going back. I found myself and my peace in this place. I became the true essence of what it means to be a man because I attacked my trauma. And I pushed it all the way back to Mississippi, and I'm not living that way anymore. And that's why I often tell people, because I get real, like, concrete when it comes to my boundaries, which is what we're about to talk about with my family. Like, I get concrete about those because at the end of the day, I have earned my place here. I have earned my place at the grown folks table. And I'm not going to waver on what I feel, but most importantly, I'm not going to let any of you and your ideologies destroy the work that I have done to rid myself of the trauma and the experiences that nearly broke me, that really made me who I am. And so let's talk about boundaries and the importance of setting those boundaries and what that looks like as you detach from those things from your past that really thought they were going to destroy you, but they didn't. Because it takes a brave person. Let me say this too, because I grew up in an abusive household as well. I grew up, and again, my parents know I'm going to talk about this because I done already made it clear that I'm going to say it and I ain't going to hide it, and they know. So if you from Shelby and you watching this, they know before you run to them and double quick, they already good with it, okay? But yeah, I grew up in an abusive household. It's no secret. Everybody in my neighborhood knows. And we had several traumatic things to happen. Stories all in the newspaper about things that's going on in my family. Very embarrassing. And to be strong enough to tell your mother that this is what's going to happen. I honor you for that. Because it is not easy to be in a place where you are afraid for your life, but become the steward of other people's. And I know for me, my number one concern growing up was always Ernest Ray Butler Jr. and Ravelyn Butler. I never cared about how I felt. And I really didn't put myself in a place to think about what my parents were going through. Like, I didn't want them to go through that. But for me, it was always, I got to shield my brother and my sister. I got to make sure they're okay. And that's not an easy place to be in. And so I want to honor you for that. Because you have to exude a extreme amount of fearful strength to make a decision like that impacted and changed your family, and you not know what the end result of that would be. But thanks be to God that it was a great end result in a sense.
Thank you, God. No, I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I really didn't know that at the time that it was that big of a decision. But yeah, after I realized, I'm actually still starting to realize it was the best decision, but it really changed a lot.
Because you could have just left.
I could have just left
You could have
myself.
just left, and it could have been what it was. You could have did all that, and she could have went back. But imagine being that bold and shaking the whole family because you didn't leave them, which would have been so much easier to do.
Yep.
So that's love. That's what love looked like.
Absolutely. The action word. Absolutely. And so, yeah, boundaries. Because one thing my family, now I'm big on boundaries. And I will spar with my mama, my daddy, my uncles, my auntie. When it comes to my boundaries, I'm going to stand on business and say what I mean and mean what I say. And so how did you guys get into that place where you started setting those boundaries and really, putting that extremely important piece in place to choose to make yourself do that and say
Nisha love a boundary. So
I love a boundary, baby. I love a boundary. And the last thing you're going to do is cross it. I just cut my uncle off because he handed the phone to my grandma. He know I don't mess with her. Done. Now both of y'all done. No, but I love a boundary, but I feel like boundaries are always born out of disrespect. I feel like you only get to a place where you have to set a boundary. I wish they were all organic because sometimes I do set a boundary for myself. Hey, we're going to take a mental health day. You don't have to answer the phone. That I know how to take care of myself now. But back then, the boundaries were built on disrespect. Like I said, I moved from my mother, and the boundary was, and I'm just gonna be very blunt. The boundary was, my mother had gotten so bad that on most occasions, if my phone rang from someone that it didn't usually ring from, I thought she was dead. So the boundary was, I can't let that continue to hold me back because she was doing that while I was in Memphis. It wasn't gonna change. So that was my first boundary. But again, the family are the first people that disrespected me. I come from an alcoholic mother and an alcoholic grandma, so just by I guess, science or biology, I am supposed to be that. So I've had families tell me, you're going to be just like your mother. You're going to be just like your grandmother. I was always the black sheep. They never missed an opportunity to show me that I had less than, that and make me feel like I was less than, or put my mother down. And while I'm saying all this, one thing you will never do is disrespect Denise. I don't care what's going on. And so that was also a boundary. As soon as you disrespect my mother, it's up for you. And I still feel that way to this day. You will never disrespect her. So a lot of my boundaries were built on that, even when she wouldn't stand up for herself. Here I am. You could talk to me. So I've had to set a lot of boundaries, but again, a lot of them started with family and a lot of them started out of disrespect. And a lot of it was, I have to choose me. If it's you or me, it's going to have to be me, because choosing to live my life for someone else or conform to an idea of someone, because if I believed what they believed about me, I would still be there. I would be where they are, actually. Hey. But the fact that I was able to choose me and set the boundary to say, I am more than what my family thinks of me. I am exactly who. And I grew up in the church. So not for nothing, I could stray as far away as I wanted to. God always had his hand on me. So I always was able to believe more about myself because I just knew I was what God said that I was. So the same people that took me to church and taught me about God were the same people that also kicked me and told me that I wasn't going to be all the things that God said that I was. So the boundaries came out of disrespect, but now that I know how to take care of myself, I try to set healthy boundaries with myself and other people. I know Glenn said that I like boundaries. He loves them. I may have encouraged him to set some boundaries in a lot of places, but you know, I would love it if we didn't have to get to a place of disrespect. I would love it if we all had enough emotional intelligence to set the boundary before the disrespect happens. But when it does happen, feel it, see it, sit in it, and then set the boundary. Because you need to know moving forward, that's not going to happen again. You don't like the way you felt. You don't like the way someone treated you. And you need to choose yourself. And moving forward, if you want to deal with them or not, this is the level of respect that you require. Anything less than that is abominable and you're done. So boundaries. Look, I done got on disrespect. That's where the boundaries started. But that's how I'm also in a place where I can be healthy about it now, where I'm not just cutting people off for no reason. I'm cutting you off because you crossed the boundary.
Mm-hmm. That feel it, see it, sit it was so good.
Oh, thank you.
Because oftentimes people just want to skip the process.
Yeah.
I ain't got no feelings. I don't care. If you don't care, you never really care for that person.
Hello?
You got to feel what you feel.
And those are the same people that will hurt you and then come back, hey, what you doing? Girl.
With no apology.
What happened to the thing you did? We're not going to do that. So, yes, and the see it, feel it, sitting in it is so uncomfortable.
It's so uncomfortable.
But even that is a part of the healing, and that is a part of the detachment, because detaching from anyone is not easy and it often hurts. So you need to sit in that so you make sure that you don't go back to it and that you set those healthy boundaries moving forward.
Absolutely.
My boundaries change or evolved. Let's say evolved. Because as a young person, like in high school or college, early out of college, early adult life, like the boundaries were like, I was cool with everybody, but if you damaged me emotionally, mentally, and or physically, or kind of really all three of those happen, like that's a boundary. I'm done with you. I'm cutting you off. Anything else, like it took a lot to like really piss me off. Mm-hmm. And when I became a young adult, like a friend actually damaged me emotionally, mentally, and then physically. And then I had to cut that person off. That friend was then tied to a lot of other friends. Those friends kind of took that person's side, or that person lied to them about certain things. So I had to cut off a group of like 15, 20 people of friends because this one person like was hurting me mentally, emotionally, and then physically. So that was a clear boundary to me until I started gaining friends with more, I guess, emotional intelligence. And I started to learn like that can't be the only boundary. Like there are things you don't like, and there are things that you don't have to be okay with it. So I started realizing with friends that like I don't like when somebody I know or a friend disrespects another friend. Like if one of my friends disrespects Nisha, like I'm gonna need to know how they fixed it or how they consoled about it or what was the aftermath about this. Like what was the solution? Because if you disrespect someone I love, you can easily disrespect me. So it's so funny when people be like, oh well, I love when people be like, mad bitches link up, because that's a true thing. Like you can be mad at somebody, another person can be mad at somebody, and then y'all both just hate this person. That's not how I move. It's more so like if you don't like this person because they did X, Y, and Z to you, it's all about context. I need to know like what was the whole story? Like, because if this person did this and they clearly wronged you, they did this in a malicious way, the intent was bad, like they knew X, Y, and Z, and you told them this, like I'm okay with like either addressing it like, hey, you kind of did my friend shady. I don't know if I can mess with you. Like that's because I truly believe like if someone can do it to you, they can do it to me. They can do it to you, they can do it to me. Like just because I treat you in a nice way, I try to treat somebody else in a nice way. Like people are humans of pattern. Like I typically see someone doing somebody dirty, they do the next person dirty. I literally have watched friends from a bird's eye view doing it over and over and over to people until somehow they come back around 10 years later and they apologize. It's crazy to me, but like I've looked at boundaries that way. Like if you are harming the people around you, baby, you definitely gonna harm me.
Yeah.
I ain't know better.
Yeah. That happened to me, child. Because I was never a people pleaser, but I also found myself in some friendships, and it was like they talking about everybody in the city like a dog, and I'm like, they would never do that to me. I'm their friend. Whole time
Doing it.
call me Lassie, because they walk me like a dog, baby. And so even then it was like, I think detachment that you're forced to do again. Like I know we're talking about friendship detachments too. It's like being forced to detach from your friends when you gave them nothing but love and genuine friendship, and then it's like, wow, you played in my face, and now I have to literally, because a grown up friendship breakup is devastating.
Baby.
Devastating.
It is so hard to cope with.
You gotta grieve. It's a grief.
I have grieved.
Thank you for acknowledging me.
Literally.
Grieved so many friendships, from anger to accept it. I've gone through all the steps. So when you say that and you had to cut off all the people, I've definitely had to detach from some friends, and it's devastating because it's like I gave you nothing but real, and the whole time you hated me. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I think for me, as I've transitioned through life, it's been boundary setting in stages, because I have to acknowledge the fact that for a long time I didn't have any. I just let people walk all over me. I did whatever would make you happy, any way that because I'm a naturally giving and supporting person. So I just wanted to be good to you, because I thought that everybody is good and everybody ain't. Some people come with agenda. Some people come with strategy. Some people would see your light and they want to take it. Some people know that you've accumulated things and they want to be a part of that. And so for me, it's become different over the years. But I think that as I've grown, every experience that I've gone through, that I've had to hurt through, and I've had to grieve through, has given me a new boundary to set. And all of those things are going to compile to make me the best person that I could be. Like when it comes to family relationships, I will always have a tier of respect for my elders, my uncles, my aunts, you know, them. But you will not talk to me any kind of way. You're going to talk to yourself, or you're going to talk to the block list. I don't care what you did. I don't care how much you did it. I don't care what you gave. I don't care what your experience was, what you sacrificed, what you think you sacrificed. You will not disrespect me thinking you going to little boy me. Like I said earlier, I've earned my place. Some may be because of you, and a lot of it ain't, because a lot I've had to get on my own. Let's be clear. But you ain't going to disrespect me. You could tell me your point. I can defer to you. I know how to defer. But you're not going to talk to me any kind of way. My mom and dad are not going to do it. My uncles and aunts are not going to do it. My brothers. I'm not going to take that. You're not going to talk to me any kind of way. You're not going to disregard my feelings. You're not going to make me feel like who I was when I was a child. He gone. And he ain't coming back. When it comes to friends, I will not accept disloyalty in any form or fashion. You will not lie to me. You will not be disloyal to me. I'm going to give you 100, even if the truth hurts. I am a friend, and if they hang around me, they'll tell you, and if they say different, they lying. I'm the one you know is going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be there for you. And I don't do it with no agenda and no expectancy of return. I do it because it's naturally who I am.
Mm-hmm.
All I ask you to do is to be loyal to me, to give me a fraction of what I give you. Because my expectation is not that you be me. My expectation is that you be you.
Mm-hmm.
But loyalty, if you can't give me loyalty, then I can't be around you. And when it comes to romantic relationships, I don't want nobody who still love their ex. If you're still connected to your ex, I don't want you. I don't want nobody who, if you think I'm supposed to come in and take the place of your mama and your daddy and re-raise you, I don't want you. If you think because I drive a BMW and I live in a condo in Deep Ellum that you going to come and you going to get some of what's in my account, no, you're not. Okay? It's like these things have taught me how to weed through these people.
Oh, yeah.
And to be able to recognize that I got to have something in place. Otherwise, everything that I have built and worked for, people will destroy it and move on with their lives while I have to clean up the rubbish of this storm. And I will not allow you to disseminate what I have worked hard for to take me back to who I used to be. He's just not coming back. And so I think for me, as I've gone through different situations that have crushed me, because I have given myself in situations that I would have never expected to have been done wrong the way that I was done wrong. Like I always think that people will somehow mess up, slip up, but I've never expected to be done wrong in some of the ways that I was done wrong, and especially after I have authentically showed up for some people. But it happens. And I acknowledge the fact that I ain't always been the best person that I thought I was in a lot of situations. I carried a lot of trauma. I said some things that were maybe not right sometimes. I thought, I was doing one thing the right way, but it wasn't wrong. I acknowledge that. I apologize about it. And not only that, I take action to rectify it, because there's a difference between acknowledgement and action.
Yes.
Acknowledgement without action is manipulation. You could tell me all day that you sorry for knocking me upside my head, but if I make you mad next week and you knock me upside my head again, then you ain't really mean that you were sorry. You just sorry so that you could put a bandage on the situation right now, but you know you're going to do it again. And so now I can't rock with you because you're purposefully throwing rocks and hitting me upside my head. But what I want to know from you all is how do you know when it's time to move on? And how do you know that maybe this is a situation that I just need to go back and rectify and fix? What are the determining factors of that for you as you figure out what to detach from and what to say, I'm going to work on this a little bit more and keep? Because it can be hurtful to cut something off too fast, too. You make the wrong choice too fast. You move on too fast. You don't give that grace. And you could end up paying for that for a long time. But you could also end up paying for keeping the wrong thing for a long time, too. So how do you move about discerning the difference between the two?
We got the same example now.
Yes, we do. Yes. I think, and I can't speak for Glenn, but I have the latter of the problems. I am someone who will give grace upon grace upon grace. Again, the boundaries built out of disrespect. I'll build a couple boundaries for you. Let's build the bridge. Let's hold hands. Let's walk over it. But by the time I get to a place of detachment, you have utterly gotten me to a space where you cannot come back from. We definitely have the same example, but I have one where I definitely detached from a friend. I don't think it was too soon. We argued at Glenn's birthday so bad. It was so embarrassing. We had a nice, classy Italian restaurant, and this man want to argue with me and go toe to toe. I got all the toes, and we can go there. I'm never going to back down from, and I'm never going to accept the disrespect. So I followed out with him. I got so mad, I blocked that man on Cash App. You ain't gonna send me $1 and try to talk to me. So, but we ended up being able to come back together. But the way that happened, it was action. And I'm glad you said action, because he showed me multiple times that he was apologetic. He changed his behavior, and he also did some work on himself. Let's talk about the work, because don't apologize if you ain't gonna do the work. Just like you said, you're gonna hit me in the head one week and then turn around and hit me in the head again. You're crazy. And I'm not gonna let you do that. So sometimes there can be reconciliation, but you have to see the action. An apology without action is
Manipulation.
Boom. You heard? Say it louder for the people in the back.
Manipulation.
Boom.
Manipidip.
Look at the little manipulative.
You trying to manipidip me.
You'll never. We definitely have a very same example. And
of what happens when people treat you a certain way and how to know when you
have to detach. And even that wasn't a smooth detachment because I wanted to test the boundary one more time and be like, is this really a detachment? So we had a mutual friend and it started with me being disrespected. And this wasn't no itty bitty friendship. This is someone I had been friends with for 10 years. So it was someone that I knew. But hindsight is 2020 because what I said before was I will take and give grace and give grace and give grace and give grace. And what Glenn said, if you disrespect the people you love, how do I think you're not going to disrespect me? All of these things played a factor. And it wasn't until I was able to step outside of myself and say, now this isn't just disrespect to me. You're disrespecting yourself. You look crazy and you don't really have the level of love for me, I would like to say, that I have for you. And the relationship is uneven. And even in that moment, I could see that I had given and given and given. And not that this person didn't give to me because showed up when I needed you. But there were a lot of things that just weren't adding up or being even. And so in this situation, I'm trying to help my friend choose themselves and they're choosing destruction. And so in that moment, I had to say, wow, I'm going to have to let you go. Because if you will destroy yourself, you will destroy me. And just like you said, if I put everything that I built on the line for you and I'm still going to have to pick, even if you're here to pick up the rubbish, I don't want you around. So in that moment, I had to make a decision to detach to save myself. Like if we both drown it and if it's you or me, I'm gonna choose me every time. And so that was heartbreaking and hurtful because it wasn't something that I would have chosen to do. But when I did it, I was like, what took you so long? And the fact that it took you so long is what hurt you, because if you had done it before, you'd be in a different situation. Now, when it came to me and Glenn, again, this is a mutual friend. And me and Glenn had to have some very difficult conversations about the disrespect. And not so that I could get Glenn on my side, but so that he could also see it from a different perspective. Because it didn't affect him at all. This didn't have anything to do with Glenn. But like he said...
Well, you think it didn't. But I think it did. Like I give people time.
Yeah.
Like months. Because I know change don't just happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, when you was coming to me, and to be honest, I feel like every time we were discussing about this mutual friend, it really ended if like, how do we help our friend like get off of this addiction, or how do we help our friend get out of this treacherous situation or relationship, or how do I help my friend like become emotionally stable? It was, to me, our conversations started to go along the lines of like, how do we help our friend see he is destroying himself?
Right.
And for me, after conversations with you about that, after like asking this person like, hey, I don't like when you do this. Hey, you did this, I don't like that. Like after months of having those conversations with you and with the friend, and then there's no movement, and then one night happens where now Nisha's disrespected in this setting, Nisha's disrespected in this setting, I'm disrespected in this setting, I'm disrespected, you disrespect your partner in this setting, you disrespect your partner in this setting. Like you're now disrespecting all these people around you that you're supposed to love. And then I still have grace for you, because even after that, again, I have a conversation like, hey, you know, you did X, Y, and Z. Like, do you like, is this who you really are? Like, are you okay with doing this? Or do you want to like figure out a way to like not to move differently? And when the response is like, oh, well, you and Nisha teaming up on me, or like there's no accountability. It's just like, oh, well, I've been doing this, or I'm just gonna not be around y'all. Like, when that's the response, when you're trying to help somebody, to me, that's a clear sign, like, you need to remove yourself. Because when I have conversations with friends that love me about boundaries, the conversation switches to, damn, like, I didn't know I was doing this. Or damn, like, how can I not do this? How can I not hurt you? How can I switch? How can I change a little bit to adjust to, like, oh, well, I can do this, but if I do this, are you gonna do this? Like, a lot of the conversations when it comes to boundaries with friends that I love, they end up talking about how we can both grow.
Right.
But the conversations that we were having, it was like we're talking to a brick wall.
Yeah.
And in those situations, I remove myself. I try to give you time. I try to give you chances. I try to give you suggestions. I try to allow you to maybe figure it out yourself. But I have to remove myself. But that's the difference when I like have friends that I love. They usually, the conversation is more so like, okay, I was fucking up, or I didn't really mean it that way. Like, can we figure, like, if we're trying to problem solve together about this and find a solution, baby, we can be friends forever. But if you can't even see the shit that you're doing, like,
and it was never that. It was a constant deflection. It was a constant.
It's not me, it's you, it's her, it's him.
It was everything but. And at that point, it was. And the crazy part is, it was still two birds, one stone. Like, both of us, yeah, we were the ones that were like, we're done, but it wasn't because we wanted to be. He still had a conversation. I still walked up and was like, hey, like a big ass dummy, still trying to figure out. I'm like, this can't be where we are. So I walk up and say, hey, and I got paid dust.
Baby.
In my big old ass dust, I like a vacuum cleaner. So even in those moments, it was like we were still trying to help. And it was so sad to see that it had to be like that. But again, I'm going to keep choosing me. And I feel like that detachment was heartbreaking for both of us. Two totally different friendships. This wasn't even we were 3 people. We were very close. We had initials and acronyms and all the things. But to me, it was heartbreaking on my own level, because I'm like, this is somebody I've known since I moved to Dallas. This is like one of the first people I met, and I was like, oh, he cool. Like, let's turn up. And again, I've been mothered by his mother. So this ain't no ring around the rosy friendship. This is something I literally had to, and not for nothing, I have had to cut off a friend and a kid before. So I'm not used to cutting off you and your family, because again, if I can't save you, I have to let you go, because you're gonna destroy yourself, or you're gonna destroy me, or you're gonna destroy people around you. And at that point, me and Glenn were friends for sure, but we were getting closer, but we weren't even like as close as we are now. And not that didn't even bring us together, because again, we still had to figure out what was that and what's going on. But those adult friendships, child. If you navigating something like that, pray about it, but please don't allow no disrespect. Please don't put yourself in a situation where somebody else can destroy everything that you built, because that's exactly what you said.
And I had a friendship where we went to high school together. Mm-hmm. We were friends for a couple of years, and I just always felt like this friend always wanted to chip away at me. Like, you just can't seem to break me, so you keep trying to find new methods. But like I said, I didn't have boundaries, so I would just be like, it is what it is. This is how she is. And so when I went off to Atlanta for an internship with the mayor's office, she moved. And I just remember her sending me a text that said she felt like I wasn't a supportive friend. I know she moved. I ain't been there. But what about me? I'm way in Atlanta with no money, nothing but a dream. You know, your family done moved you to this new city, and you got family here. I'm in Atlanta. I ain't got nothing but a dream.
Did she come to you?
No.
That was my question.
Ain't text me and check on me. Nothing. And so, cut me off. You don't know how you bless me.
Love that for you. I was literally sitting here like, love that for you.
I have been so sick of you, but I just didn't have the strength. I just didn't have the strength to do it.
She cut herself off.
I had been so sick of you. And when you freed me, you did me a favor. Mm-hmm. And how I know, the thing about me, And I don't exalt myself, but I know that there is not another person who will be in your life like me.
Ever.
The things that I do for the people that I love, I surprise myself with the extent that I'll go when I say I love you and I care about you.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was 5 years later, we seen each other at a class reunion, and she wants to have a conversation. Baby, this ain't the time or the place.
No, man.
It ain't gonna never be the time or the place.
Email me.
I don't do that. I'm cool with you. I still have love for you as a human being. I want to see you win. I could be in the same room with you and be cordial. I could laugh and talk about what we did in high school and what we did in college. We were friends for 8 years. We went all of high school together. No, we were friends for 7 years. We went my 3 years of high school together and all 4 years, plus a 5th year of college, so 8 years. I could talk about everything we did, but at the end of this night, don't text my phone. Don't call me. We can't hang out.
Because
and the thing about me is, and this is in, like I said earlier, when I make my mind up, my mind is made up. This is in family, friends, romantic. I will miss you. I will grieve you. But when you mess around and let me get over you, I'm gone. You will not find me in the same spot that you left me.
That's how you know.
I'm gone. And I could have love for you and all of the memories. And so that's what I want to quickly touch on. How do we get through those moments where you miss somebody, but you know they ain't no good for your life and where you going?
I think Glenn said the best. You gotta grieve, but I'm gonna jump a little. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. If you want to know if you detached and you did the right thing, give yourself a little time, because that your life gonna start elevating. And actually, you don't need much time. Your life is gonna start elevating in ways that you never saw before, because God can't bless you while them people around.
Peace.
Yeah.
He can't bless you, because if he bless you while they're around, you're gonna mess up the blessing. And so as soon as you get rid of them people, baby, your life start getting good. Your skin start clearing up, and it's just up and up and up.
And when I tell you it shoots off, and it's like it takes off like a rocket, and literally I ask myself the question of, I know what I feel right now is bad, but think about what I felt when I was in it. Like even when I'm in a romantic situation and I gotta go through this breakup or separate myself from you, I tell myself it's better than thinking about where you at night when you ain't answering your phone. Why your phone all going on do not disturb all of a sudden. Why you not responding? Why you can't? Why are you not communicating? Not the fact that I need to keep tabs on you. Why you not communicating? Why are you treating me this way? Why are you making me feel this way? And I show up for you time and time again to give you 100%. I feel much better grieving you. Now it's harder to grieve for me in my life. It's harder for me to grieve people who are alive than people who are dead. Because I accept the fact that you're dead. But I can't accept the fact that you ain't in my life.
That was crazy.
You know, I accept the fact. You know, I get to it a little quicker. Like, oh my goodness, you passed. I miss you. I feel that pain in my chest. But I know you're gone to your eternal being.
Right.
But you alive.
Right here.
And I don't know when I'm going to run into you. And I'm grieving you because you're not in my life no more. But I got to do what I got to do. And eventually, you're going to come back around. And I don't say that in arrogance. I say that with full esteem of self. I know this over here, something about this you're going to miss. But it's going to be gone. New address, who this? So, Colleen, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Me, who this?
How do you deal with missing things? And
one thing that helps, I feel like grieving is different for everybody. And grieving is just not a good, it's negative feelings that come about. But what helps me through the grieving stages is to know that like you said, like you're unique and no one can provide what you provide. Like everybody is that way. So I solely came to the understanding that we're here to help each other. Like you were brought to help me. I was brought to help you. Like everybody's brought to help somebody. And if for me, this person, I can't help this person, somebody out there is born to help them through whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I have to remove myself and I gotta grieve so you can find that person to get you to wherever you need to go. Like, I really feel like people that are out here just destroying people, they haven't ran into the right person or the right anchor or the right trigger to like catapult them to their next journey, because I've only reached my next level or my next journeys by people, by interactions. So that, knowing that, because I have a friend that's like maybe he wants to help everybody so bad. They don't even want to be helped, but he want to help them. But I told him the other day, like, you got to remove yourself from this person's life so the right person can help them. And it's not saying that you aren't a healer or you aren't good enough or you haven't whatever, but it's like you're just not it for that person.
Right.
You've gone as far as you can.
You've gone as far as you can, or it's not the right time. They don't want the help. So it's like, knowing that I'm not the right person and there's somebody else is, I literally, if I really care for you and love you, I gotta remove myself from you because I gotta let you find the right person to actually help you from this drama, this anger, this disrespect that you're doing. Everybody, like, I have to grieve that. And because I love that person, I literally step away.
Yep.
And now, I used to not do that, but now I've gotten to the point where somebody got to help you and it's not going to be me.
I love it.
What about the factors when you got to check yourself and detach from your own self and the stuff that you be doing? What about that? What does that look like when you gotta say, I gotta detach from some choices that I make in regards to myself?
That's a different attachment. And sometimes that looks like grief too. But I feel like sometimes detachment is love. I think if you love yourself enough, you will set the boundaries and you will detach from negative things. Sometimes you're forced into that too. Forced to have to change your life, forced to have to change your diet, forced to have to change your job or your friends or your relationship. Sometimes you're forced to have to change those things. But even in those moments, being able to detach, one of my favorite things to do is just detach from everything for a minute. Like, I'm an only child and sometimes I just need a minute. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to be around anyone. I just need to sit in my house, sit on my couch, watch my TV and be quiet. But detachment looks like a lot of things, because I think even detaching from those friendships and those relationships meant that I had to, because pulling away from them, to me, I didn't blame the other person at all. I said, what did I do in that situation that I could have done better? How could I have shown up better for myself to either detach sooner or to help that person differently? But I always leave those relationships and those detachments looking within myself. So while I'm, detaching from them, I'm also detaching from the role that I played there too, because I'm never innocent in anything. I was there. I accepted it. I played some sort of role. So for me, a lot of it is my detachment looks like self-reflection. Even in those moments where I have to take a minute for myself, I'm going inward to say, okay, we need to change this, because I'm trying to get here. I might want to be more aligned with my journey with God. I might want to be more aligned with a healthy lifestyle. I might want to be more in line with like enhancing a skill or something that I want to do. But sometimes I have to go into solitude to get my mind right, to figure out what that looks like. Yep. I can't always just come up with a plan. And honestly, I'm tired, baby. I've been coming up with plans since I was 4. Sometimes I need a minute. I say all the time, I tell it to my friends, I'm going to cry, but I'm going to get it done. And so sometimes I just need a minute to detach from everything, realign myself with my goals and my purpose and my passion and with God. And then I can show back up, because I don't ever want to show up half-assed either. When I show up for my people and I show up for my friends, I want to be able to show up in a full, authentic, and genuine capacity. And I can't do that unless my cup is overflowing. It's not a cup half full. It's I can only give people what overflows out of the cup. So my detachment is self-preservation, it is self-love, and it is realignment for the most part. But baby, even detaching from like relationships or detaching from myself in relationships, I think that's also healthy too, because I still find myself in relationships that I currently have that are great, but even those I have to detach from sometimes. I feel like we even have moments where we detach. My best friend, we've been best friends 27 years. I remember She gonna see this. I love you. I remember for a couple weeks I didn't talk to her. We talk often, but for a couple weeks I was like, I just don't have the capacity. Like when we talk, it ain't no little yin conversation. It is we talking for 2 hours. We went from politics to the world to what's happening on the internet. And sometimes, like in those moments, I don't have the capacity. And again, if I can't show up the way I want to show up, I need a minute. So my detachment is that.
And can we highlight that you highlighted a very important factor that people don't wrap their mind around. Detachment isn't always cutting off.
No.
Sometimes it's just taking a step back or taking a moment. It isn't always cutting off. People always think when you say I'm detaching from this, I'm cutting it off. Oftentimes it is. When I detach from you, I'm often leaving you right here in this spot.
Where you are.
But sometimes it's I'm just taking a step back and then I'm going to come back, so.
And a lot of it is personal too. I hate to jump in, but a lot of it, and I think that's when you have a solid friendship, your friends will know that like it's not personal. I can't take it personal because you need some time for yourself. I don't have a friend in my life right now that if I say I need a minute, I don't even have to say I need a minute. I'm just gonna pop back up and be like, hey, what's up? And they'll be like, hey girl, what's going on? But also having the right people around you to know you, and even if you do need to say, hey, I need a minute, check on me in a couple of days, but right now I need a minute, those are the kind of people you want around you to be able to nurture you when you need that. Because everything, I'm like you, I'm gonna give, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna give, I'm gonna always be there, but sometimes I need a minute. So sorry to get up in there, but I had to also say, because I love that you said it isn't always a detachment. Sometimes it's just a give me a minute. I need to realign and I'm gonna come back.
Yeah.
What was the question? If
what does detachment look like from yourself?
Self-detachment. I think I really learned. I really did a lot of. I think to me, it's more so self-awareness. Like I really, really gained self-awareness after a relationship. Like and it was a relationship I wanted to work so bad. Like I think after friendships you want to work so bad, you start to, and things you want to work so bad, you want it to just work real bad, and it don't. You really start to self-reflect. So I literally, after the relationship, I got in therapy. And in therapy, like I was reading articles, reading relationship books, like just to learn about how people operate and how people try to become a unit. And to be honest, I was learning about relationships and friendships, like how to better them. Within that, and then within therapy, I just started asking my mom questions, and then should get answers. I was moving in ways that I was not unlearning things. I did not unlearn nothing that my parents taught me, or unintentionally and intentionally. So I would ask my mom questions. She would give me answers, and I instantly was like, my self-awareness was kicking in. Like, I don't want this for me. Like your responses that you used to have that I'm showing, I don't want that. And then it got to a point where it was like, I have more questions that need answers from my childhood. And I started building a relationship with my dad. And building a relationship with my dad literally allowed me to literally see the good and the bad in me from him that I really wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
So I literally had to, every other night, especially after therapy, I would journal almost every day. Therapy once a week, to then once every other week, and then once every 3 weeks. Like, I literally had to sit in the middle of the night, like crying or just like not talking to anybody, turning my phone off, just being in a black room, just like reanalyzing, like, what the heck did I do to get here in certain situations? And then telling myself, like, I never want to be in this. I never want to be in that. I have to literally like move completely differently to not get back there, or I have to speak up sooner so this doesn't happen. So I think the speaking up is like loving on yourself to literally detach from your old self, and then the sitting in the dark and just analyzing, self-reflecting allow me to like leave some pieces of myself that I never want to see again behind. Like it was really a rough relationship that pushed me into deep self-awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep.
Deep.
Real deep, baby.
But
Very deep.
sometimes we go through those situations that break us, or we think it's breaking us, not to destroy us, but to make us better and more refined.
Bad.
You know, you're walking through the process of the situation, and you think that the world is ending and your world is crashing. But really, God is building you. As our new senior pastor, Sarah Jakes Roberts, say when she break that word down,
Baby.
what the devil meant for evil, God turned
Hallelujah.
for good, you know, the whole time. And so for me, self-detachment is detaching from my own internal thoughts. I could think myself into a frenzy about myself. And so it's removing all of the things that connect me to thinking that I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy of receiving, or I'll never receive. Yes, I am. I'm not good enough because I'm better than that. I'm worthy of receiving because I'm gonna receive a portion that's so big they're not gonna understand how it got over here.
Yes.
I have to wait because what's coming to me is gonna be so out of this world. That eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the hearts of man. I believe in those promises. And so I have to detach from the thoughts within myself. Because honestly, I don't care what nobody else think about me. I really do not. I don't care. I do not have to be like, I know I show up authentically and wholeheartedly to be the best me that I could be for others, but I'm going to be the best me that I could be for me first. And so I have to detach from those thoughts in my head that try to keep me from propelling forward and not wanting to sit in when I allow myself to connect. Because I have to be truthful too, that a lot of the times, some of the hurt that I feel is because I chose to be in these situations.
Yes.
And I chose to be around these people. And I chose to go in blindly and not open my eyes to see what being a part of this scenario was doing to me. And so I have to rise in that and detach from the thoughts that, you know, why me? Or I deserve it. So that's definitely a strong thing to think about and look at. So as we get ready to close, well, first I want to know, like, because you talked about therapy, so I want to touch on that briefly. What are the things that you're doing, you know, to help stay rooted in who you are and what you need to be connected to and not connected to? I know for me, therapy is one of those, having a strong community, journaling, reading. What about y'all?
Right now, my biggest thing is God.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh, he's so good. God is God is my everything. He is who brought me through all of these situations. And just a little praise report. My mother has been 4 years alcohol free, 3 years non-smoking. I think it's almost 5 years. And she texts me every day with scripture and love. And I just also want to share a piece of her journey too, because look at God. We ain't talking about reattachment right now, but things can come around. But right now it's God for me. I remember a couple years ago, I was going through a very tough time. I was laid off on my job and I didn't know where my next job was going to come from. And the way God kept me through that was amazing. But he kept me so well that I gave my whole life to God. I said, I don't want to make another plan. I don't want to put nothing on paper. I don't want to do anything moving forward if it does not have you in it. And honestly, from that day forward, my life has been amazing. The hard decisions, the conversations, the detachment, all of those things, I know it's a part of his plan. And so now I have less questions and more grace and more praise, honestly, because if something falls apart, it's so God can bring it back together. So one of my biggest things is God. I haven't done therapy in quite a while, but I do think I have a very high level of self-awareness, and I also show up very authentically and very genuinely. And I feel like the missing piece for a long time was God. And we were going to church and we were doing all the things, but a few years ago is when I really, really double down and I gave it all to God. And my life, even with the bumps, even with the bruises, my life has been tremendously abundant since then in every capacity. So I ain't gonna lie, I've been in my word. I'm reading the entire Bible this year. I'm getting a lot more understanding. The Old Testament is eating me up, but Psalms is beautiful. Baby, they on bending knee in Psalms. Remember that video that man said, y'all ain't begging no more. That's why y'all ain't got no woman. They on bending knee in Psalms and they begging God, and that's, the God is good. So for me right now and where I am in my journey, it is a lot of God. I'm in my word, I'm in my bag, and I think it's also allowing me to show up. I prayed on my way here. I pray before I do my job. I'm a business coach. I'm literally handling multi-million-dollar businesses on a regular basis, and it's like first of all, how did I get there? But also, I have to pray before I even start that, because I don't want to tell these people the wrong thing. I don't want to lead somebody down a path that is not successful. So once I started doing all that and I really locked in with God, life has just been lit. So right now and forevermore, that's where I'm at.
Amen.
Because I do so much. God is part. Baby, I do way too much.
So much.
Clearly,
He never slowed down from track. He's still going.
God is one. I'm on my God journey, on my big God journey. Clearly,
Amen.
And I also do therapy. Therapy to me, I will promote therapy for all Black people in general, especially Black men. There's a lot of things that we have to learn just from the society. The culture has changed. Society has changed. The knowledge that we've gained has changed. What we want in life has changed. So I think we have to move differently. Therapy, I think, it helps us unlearn a lot of things from our childhood that literally destroyed us or damaged us. I'm a big promoter of like self-care. Like, I don't self-soothe. Self-soothe to me is like I just randomly, or what's it called? My reaction is just to, let me go get some candy. Like I plan things out where it is literally care for myself daily. Like I take bubble baths now. I probably take the bubble baths probably 3 to 4 times a week. I'll be on FaceTimes in my bubble baths. I work out still, and I literally made it a goal this year to like try different workout things like Pilates, CrossFit, aerial class. I do half marathons. Like I've made it a point to keep working out and something athletic in my life. I try to push that on my friends because physical health is mental health to me. And then healthy body, healthy mind, God, spirituality. I have a dog now. She's part of my self-care. Loving on her or nurturing something else helps me. But yeah, I try to like always keep things in my life that are filling my tank and helping me learn more about myself. Therapy, baby. If you ain't tried it, you need to, or you ain't got the right therapist.
Amen. And get you a village too. I think that's so important. Yes. It's so many people out here that don't have good friends around them. Like having a village. Everywhere I've gone, I had a village. Like I said, I still got friends in Washington State that hold me down. I still talk to. But having good people in a village in your life will change the trajectory. It will take you from glory to glory if you let it, if you got the right people in your life. Like even me and Glenn, I don't even know how we started going to church. Like I think it was so random, but like we're church friends.
We're literally church friends too. Like
we're going, let's go. Which church we going to? We'll even mix it up. We might go here this weekend. We going here. But like even that level of our friendship only helped us to grow. So having good people in your life will also help you elevate and grow, and also get over the detachments, because you need the village to be able to help you through these difficult times. Without it, how do you do it?
Yeah, I love it. So as we get ready to wrap things up, I want you all to look into that camera in 60 to 90 seconds, and I want you to do 2 things. Number 1, I want you to take a look back at your former self and tell that person something special. And then I want you to tell somebody who might be watching this, who is dealing or have dealt with similar struggles like you, about what's to come for them if they hold on and stand in what they believe in.
I love to talk to my inner child, and that's who I nurture. So for me, baby, we made it. Even when it looked terrible, even when it was hard, even when you cried, even when you were lonely, even when you felt helpless, Even when you were betrayed, even when you had to detach from people that were supposed to love you, you still made it. And not only were you able to do it with God, but you always found your tribe and your people. And I'm also very proud of you because in a world where you should have given up, you never did. And so on top of that, what I would also tell anyone who's listening to this, and if you're in any situation similar to anything we talked about, please keep going. It gets better. Nothing is going to be bad forever, but you always have to keep choosing God, keep choosing yourself. If it's somebody else and it's you, baby, choose you because you all you got. And sometimes you have to choose you to be able to get to your next level. And it might mean leaving some people behind that you love dearly, but you cannot level up and get to where you want to go knowing that you have the wrong people in your corner. And even if you don't know, I hate to tell you, but you're going to find out because when you try to take them with you, it's going to hinder your blessing. So all I'm going to say is keep going, keep God first, and do not stop. Please, whatever you do, do not stop.
I think I would tell my younger self, relax, like relax and stop second guessing yourself. You got it. Like similar, like you're going to be proud. And you definitely made it. You actually already made it before you made it. So relax. What I would tell people that have gone through similar situations or that's going through tough challenges, traumas, or, trials, tribulations with your family or friends, I would really suggest mental health, like increasing your emotional intelligence, increasing your capacity, like really getting in therapy, because I feel like learning more about yourself will allow you to figure out how to treat people. Mm-hmm. It will allow you to figure out what grace to give to people, how much grace to give to people, and in turn, how to give grace to yourself. Like I would literally suggest therapy. It's not there's people, oh, you got a problem, you crazy, you psychotic. It's nothing of the sort. Like I would suggest increasing your mental health, your emotional intelligence, and your mental capacity.
Mm. Yeah. Me, I would tell myself, boy, you a bad boy. You a bad boy. And you don't see it then, but it's okay that they laugh at you. It's okay that they try to take you down. It's okay that they try to make fun of the joy in your heart and the pep in your step and the glee in your eyes and the amazingness in your win. It's okay that they want to take your smile from you. Lean into that. And even though you didn't have the strength to lean into it then, you had the strength to keep going past it. Because what's coming for you down the road is far greater than the experiences you are having sitting in that unknown space of if you'll ever get that love and support that you need. And then to the people who are struggling to find themselves, to be in situations that you don't want to be in and let it go, the people who are struggling with self-esteem and self-efficacy, I want to say to you, how dare you think about quitting? How dare you think about giving up? How dare you think about not putting what you have and who you are and all that you got and all your stock into this universe? There may be somebody who is just as good, but they're not as good as you. You have a unique and divine. You are wrapped and clothed and shaped and washed in a divinity that creates a lane for you and only you, that no matter who tries to catapult in it, they will not be able to do what it is that you do. You just got to stand in it. If it's raining, get some rain boots. If the wind is heavy, strap yourself down. If the floods are coming, learn how to swim. Whatever you do not let that thing take you out, because there is something much more beautiful and far greater on the other side of your storm. Thank y'all so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate y'all.
We appreciate you.
I love y'all.
Love you too. This was amazing. Thank
Absolutely. This was another episode of the Relentlessly Becoming podcast. We're going to have to invite Glenn and Nisha back on the couch again.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Period.
We'll come break it up.
Ruffle some feathers.
So as you all can see from watching this episode, detachment is not always the easiest thing to do. But in the words of Malcolm X, we have to do it by any means necessary sometimes. And I know oftentimes we get attached to people, places, and things that we think we love in the moment. But we have to ask ourselves, are we holding ourselves back from all that we can blossom to be in our future? I want to leave you all with a quote from our esteemed Bishop Thomas Dexter Jakes that I retracted from Being Mary Jane, one of my favorite shows. Bishop said, resist fear, for fear will never end positive. Lean on your faith and what you believe in. Thank you all for tuning in for another episode of the Relentlessly Becoming podcast. And I will see you soon. Bye.